Michal Vasečka, Pan-European University in Bratislava in Czechia, expert in race, migration studies, as well as populism, extremism, and social movements. Sounds like a real cocktail of modern politics, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
It's an interesting time in Czechia, isn't it?
Oh,
just after the elections, and the government is still in the making.
Absolutely. We still don't know how the government will look like, but it's very likely that Mr. Babiš, who is a very good representative of Central European populism, will create it with rather extremist SPD and quite interesting political party, which suggests motorists, which suggests that they are really take care of engines. But in fact, it's a project of former President Václav Klaus. And it's a very right-wing, radical political party, which is deeply anti-European. So it's not about engines, after all. And I would be probably worried mostly about the presence of motorists in that government, not so much about Babiš and extremist SPD.
So what kind of engine will they be for the Czech Republic for the next parliamentary term?
Babiš is a populist who might even join some of so-called patriotic circles in the European Parliament. Not necessarily he will join Fico and Orban in its politics. He's rather moderate in it. He will definitely...
But he's close to that kind of thing.
Yeah, he will establish some contacts with Fico, but not necessarily he will support pro-Russian standpoints. No. I mean, that it will probably not go that far. The question mark is about motorists, because they would like to cooperate with Orban. They would be definitely not on the side of Brussels in its battle with Russian aggression in Ukraine. And there are even signs that they might be very sympathetic to some of Putin's suggestions.
Pro-Kremlin party.
Pro-Kremlin parts. Exactly.
Will they have, in your opinion, enough power to press Babiš for the decision or for the angle that they would like to take and sort of
That's a good news.
Impose on...
That's a good news. No, I don't think they will have enough power. Babiš, somewhere at the end of the day, might change them for some of political parties from a former coalition. I would guess that the coalition of Spolu together might collapse sooner or later, and ODS might eventually join Babiš, which would be actually a very good move for both Czech Republic and the European Union, and also for neighboring countries. We don't know, but I wouldn't bet that this government would last for 4 years without problems. Babiš might be populist, but he's very, very pragmatic. His interests are in the West, his businesses are in the West. There is no reason to think that he would be some dramatically pro-Kremlin.
So there's no reason to worry about Czech Republic being Orbanized in a way?
No. I mean, I would be moderately positive here and optimistic. After elections in Slovakia, it was very clear where the country will go. And unfortunately, everything went that way. In the case of Czech Republic, again, it's a country of Central Europe, but slightly different. It's the most Western Central European country for the last 35 years, and it's following slightly different path in this respect. But let's not be too over-optimistic. Let me warn you about ourselves in Central Europe. We are not that innocent sometimes as we pretend. Let's not forget that many conflicts, wars, and ideologies were created in this region. And developments in this part of the world are very often premonition, some kind of early warning system for the global West.
What is really those early warnings now?
Absolutely, and what we see in Hungary, Slovakia, to a certain extent in Poland, of course, and of course recently also in the Czech Republic, is a warning signal of something what is slowly and systematically coming to the so-called West. When we think about the situation in Italy, in France, in UK, that's basically something...
You're talking about populism and far right?
Absolutely. Okay. And also about governments which are not delivering, because that's the source of all problems. That's why right-wing oriented populists are so successful, because far too many people are not trusting democracy so much as in the past, because they believe, and it's and it's, sometimes it's not even true, but perception is more important than reality itself. They believe that democratic and liberal forces are not delivering. And this is the core of the problem. So again, we in Central Europe, we sometimes might be even responsible what is happening in the western part, because many, many things were tested here and later applied in other parts.
You said that you're not pessimist when it comes to relations of your country, of the Czech Republic, with the European Union, with Brussels. Babiš used to claim that he was pro-European, but he's against Brussels. What does it really mean? What kind of political line does it indicate on the side of Prime Minister to be Babiš?
Babiš is very, very pragmatic, and he sees, and he's following public opinion in the Czech Republic. And let me remind you that Czechs are very openly against adoption of euro, in spite of the fact that they were the first country which was ready for adopting the euro in times when other countries of the region were far from it, even thinking about it. Czech Republic is one of the most Eurosceptic countries in the whole European Union.
In terms of currency, yes.
And it's not anti-Western, but it's definitely anti-European Union, anti-Brussels. And Babiš is just following the public opinion.
So what will be the consequences? Because Brussels is, as a matter of fact, the capital of the European Union. Being against Brussels, it is undermining the European Union.
Absolutely. Babiš will be undermining the European Union, but he will be not destroying it in a way as Orban and Fico are doing very openly, in a way helping, let's say
because
Kremlin.
Of his pragmatism and focus on business that he's got all across Europe?
No. Look, I expect that Babiš might be so-called troublemaker as far as the whole system of engines,
enfant terrible,
enfant terrible,
politics.
and blocking certain technological legal norms that Brussels might be coming. But he will be definitely not blocking it in really important issues, such as sanctions against Russia, voting about gas.
Okay, that was to be my next question.
What about Ukraine? That's more important than just legal norms, whether since 2035 we should have engines only electric or non-electric. I mean, those are particularities which might be important for environmentalists, but for a global picture, really big picture about the European Union, those are particular issues.
What about Ukraine? We will not give a single koruna from the state budget to Ukraine for weapons.
Yes.
We have no money for Czechia.
No,
so
definitely this will...
Zelensky is losing a supporter
to certain extent, Zelensky is losing a very open supporter. Let me remind that together with Poland, Czech Republic, and of course Baltic states, was the country which was helping Ukraine the most. And also, I would say symbolically, not only by weapons. But let me remind you also what happened in Slovakia. Fico was the harsh critic of Ukraine, and he's a critic of Ukraine and Zelensky himself even now. And at the same time, Slovakia was never selling more guns to Ukraine as now. They just turned it into the business. But the weapons are not coming from a state as a gift, so to say, but it's a pure business. And this is not only not changing, but in fact, it's developing, and the same will be the case of the Czech Republic, I suppose.
Timothy Garton Ash writes, 36 years ago in Prague, people kept telling me they wanted to live in a normal country, such as France, Britain or Germany, and in a way they do now, except in the meantime the definition of normal has changed. We have President Trump, we have Prime Minister Meloni, we have Nigel Farage, we have Brexit AFD in Germany, of course. In your opinion, what is the new normal, the new normality in politics?
New normality is basically accepting that populists who are always dividing the world into small corrupt elite and then millions and millions of average people who are suffering because of activities of that corrupt elite. And populists are very often very chameleonic. They don't have any ideology. They can change it during a day. And this is unfortunately becoming true for most of countries of the European Union. So in this respect, the normality changed a lot.
So where is it leading?
Let me answer in a more complex way. We are living in a paradigm change which is dramatic, and we are not paying attention to it, that everything is changing. You know, like in the history of the mankind, when everything was changing, when hunters settled down and they created first civilizations, when the Industrial Revolution started, and it changed everything. And we are in the same turmoil at the moment, and institutions are still in a previous era. They have to adjust. It will take some time. So we are definitely...
The question is, will they manage? I mean,
well, that's a
will
question.
Will they manage within the reasonable amount of time?
We are definitely heading to the world when, for some period of time, there will be turmoil. I mean, that's clear. There is absolute consensus about it, that in upcoming years, we will be settling ourselves into a new era, into new circumstances. And hopefully we'll make it. If not, you know, like in the history of mankind, some other civilization will take over.
Right.
No. And this is not apocalypticism here.
It is a bit, but we have to consider these scenarios as well. In your opinion, how far are we from the peak of that turmoil?
No, thanks to technological changes and AI, which is, you know, overwhelming the space already. Also, discussions about it are everywhere. I think we are very, very close to it. So no, I wouldn't be dramatically pessimistic here, but we have to pay attention that everything is changing. And populists, and of course people are full of frustration, fear, or at least unsatisfaction. I mean, we see unsatisfaction on every corner, and populists are just utilizing it. They see it and they are pouring oil into the fire. And that's why they are so dangerous, because of course, not necessarily it should be so bad, but they are pouring the oil into the fire. You know, I see it in the Czech Republic, I see it in Slovakia, and we saw it in Poland. I mean, in times when the country was doing relatively fine, various types of populists were actually worsening the situation, trying to convince people that they are living in some dramatic times which are unprecedented. They were not. Simply, institutions were catching up and trying to change themselves into, and you know, to be, so to say, up to date. And they will manage, sooner or later.
So in your opinion, I assume you don't believe that democracy, or liberal democracy, is doomed?
No, of course. I mean, liberalism is facing a lot of challenges, visibly. Among them, of course, and liberals will have to change a lot of things. Among others, many liberals for a long time believed that you know, we shouldn't awake emotions on the side of people. People are adult, they know they are rational. Not necessarily. Sometimes, you know, we have to awake certain emotions. European Union was trying to be non-emotional. That was a mistake in my understanding, you know. It was a very liberal project always. And look at the marketing of the European Union, how it is done. Everybody who was doing marketing in his life or her life would say that's exactly how not to do it.
Yeah? Time for change.
And there is a time for change. And in this sense, let's be optimistic. Sooner or later, you know, there is a new generation coming, and that generation they have their answers, and not necessarily bad answers. You know, we who still remember old bad times. We still believe that
36 years ago.
Exactly, that Generation Z will be unable to adjust to new situation. Right. I don't believe. I think that they will make it.
Thanks for joining us,
Michal Vasečka. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.